Hello, welcome back. Today we have Tesla 14.2.1. Let's do a drive with some commentary. So upcoming turn that's on the right is a no turn on. Oh my God, no turn on red. However, I see that the lights have turned green, so unfortunately we won't be able to test if the car can read the signs or not. Oh yay, yay. Okay, let's see what the car does. It should stay put, it should not move. Version 13 would try to move and take the right. Looks like it's staying put. Awesome. 14.2.1 win. Yeah, on version 13 I have to disengage here and then I have to take over because the car would go. I was actually worried that as I was approaching this, the lights were green. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't test this again, but okay, this is great. I think there's going to be one more no turn on red. Let's see, let's hope that the lights turn red, and so we can test if this is a fluke or it's consistently behaves well. Oh my God, this light is not turning. Ah boy. Okay, I don't think we'll be able to test this because the light is green. So although I'm not sure if this was a no turn on red. I think turn is allowed on red. So okay, so no gain, no loss. But yeah, I mean, FSD is doing an excellent job. I went to, you must have seen the other video. I went to North Carolina from New Jersey. There was one disengagement that I had to do, but this was at a supercharger. The car was going to pull into a parking lot that was right next to the supercharging lots, and that particular lot did not have it was not a supercharger lot. Okay, I think it's driving a bit too slow. Let's see if I can change this to hurry and will that. Yeah, so that was, I would say, yeah, it's not perfect, but anyway, I had to take over. I had to do something about the supercharger anyway, but there was no disengagement required on the roads. It was perfect. It was just perfect. I mean, I think if you've watched that video, you would probably know this. I was also guilty of dozing off, slept for maybe napped, I would say, not slept, but I mean, close my eyes, maybe, let's put it that way, for a minute or two, and but yeah, I did have my head straight, and I was wearing sunglasses. So that was probably what tricked the car, that I was probably watching the road. Yeah, but it was interesting. I mean, it just says how much of a trust I could have on the car doing a pretty good job. However, on the way back, I had a lot of troubles. It was not to do with FSD, but it was with the car itself. The trunk wouldn't close. So I pulled into a supercharger, and I think something happened right about the time I was pulling into the supercharger, the parking lot. And then it said, "Oh, take over immediately," or something like that. And then I was almost parked. I just, and then I opened the trunk, and but the trunk wouldn't close after that. The trunk would just refuse to close, and I was like, what the hell happened? The trunk was closed. I just opened. I didn't move the bags too much, and I just tried to close it, and it wasn't closing. And then I moved the bags well inside, so there's absolutely no way there's any kind of an obstruction. The trunk wouldn't close. It would come all the way down, and there was a beep beep, and then it just opens up. There's nothing I could do. I could just pull the trunk all the way down manually and keep it in a closed position, but it wouldn't latch. So according to the car, the trunk is open. And I struggled. I called the road hazard, the roadside assistance. This was somewhere in Virginia. And they said, yeah, okay, fine, we could, arrange a tow truck and it will take you to the nearest service center. I was like, I have like another 250-300 miles to come back to. Probably 250 miles maybe, right? So it was kind of at a halfway point. I was like, I asked them, hey, could the service center arrange for a loaner, because I have to go home. It was a Monday. I had to, there was, the next day I had to go to work, whatnot. And the person was like, no, I don't know. I mean, the service center is actually shut today. I'm like, okay, what do I do? I mean, I don't. Okay, so let us say I do get a loaner. I mean, magically something was open and then they arranged a loaner. How would I get my car back? Do I drive back another 250 miles down to get my car? Basically, the roadside assistance was a no-go. We tried a bunch of things with ChatGPT. Like, the ChatGPT said, maybe try to, poke your finger and try and do some kind of adjustment of the latch. Maybe it might work, and nothing worked. Absolutely nothing worked. Just would refuse to close the door, latch the door, let's put it that way. So then me and my wife, we went to a hardware store or a car shop nearby, tried to see if there was anything that we could do, anything that they would be able to repair. Nah, they didn't have any kind of such service. And then we went to another store and bought some duct tape. The car, we could shut the trunk. And it would stay kind of shut. This was all done manually. It would stay shut, but it wouldn't latch. So so if you're going at highway speeds at 70-75 miles per hour and there's a bump, that door is going to pop open, right? So then we got the duct tape and then we duct taped the whole car, the trunk, and then it seemed like it seemed to hold the trunk just fine. And then we came back, but because the camera is on the back, I think the car refused to do any kind of self-driving. Forget about full self-driving. It wouldn't even do like an autopilot or even cruise control. basic cruise, nothing. So we had to literally go back to basics and drive ourselves. Every time we, put the car and drive, from a park to drive, you would throw a warning saying that, hey, acknowledge that there is an issue with the trunk and it's unsafe to drive. So you had to acknowledge and then again put the car on drive. So it was pretty crazy. And then we came back home safely, thank God. And then we got a Tesla mobile appointment, and then a week later I got the service person come, and then they fixed the car. They literally just changed the latch completely, right? And the person said there's nothing gently wrong with Model Y Juniper these days. I mean, it's not like they've seen such complaints come often, so it was nothing that the person knew. So anyway, but then after that, the car, the self-driving, everything is back, everything works. Yeah, it was an interesting story. All right, I've reached my destination. Thank you for listening in.